The Ohio State Buckeyes absolutely obliterated the Oregon Ducks in the college football playoff quarterfinals in the Rose Bowl, 41-21, in a score that might not be indicative of how much of a blowout this game really was. Ohio State jumped out to a 34-0 lead in the first half, put it on cruise control, and was never in doubt of not winning this game in yet another impressive performance from Ryan Day's squad in the college football playoff. And Ohio State, I think by a pretty comfortable margin right now, looks like the best team in college football with 2 more potential games to go. We'll break down the game, briefly preview Texas-Ohio State in the semifinals. Give me your one-word reaction to the Ohio State versus Oregon game. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Some takeaways from the Rose Bowl and the CFP Quarterfinals. Number one, Ryan Day will be back as your head coach in 2025, regardless of what happens the rest of the way. I also wonder if it's even going to be a question because they are favored against Texas. More on that to come here later on. Ryan Day's team, as bad as that Michigan loss was, as unacceptable as that Michigan loss was, these last 2 games are some of the most impressive performances of any college football team this year. You beat a undisputed college football playoff team in Tennessee, 42-6. That was at home. Tennessee's not as good. This is Oregon. You already lost them once this year. They hadn't lost the game all year, and you embarrassed them, 41-21 in a game that was never in doubt. You can use some of the advanced stuff like garbage time filters, and I like to use, 8%, 10%, win probability for like when the garbage time filter ends up getting applied, not applied. That was in play 5 minutes into the second quarter. This game was never close. So hat tip to Ryan Day. There's 2 more games to finish. There's 2 more games that matter because coming up as the number 4 team in the country, we've done that before, but you're not firing him after these last 2 games. There's no way the Buckeyes do that. My next takeaway is this, and this is backed by the numbers there, about even money right now, last I checked. Ohio State has to be the odds-on favorite for the national championship. You beat the number 1 team in the country, hadn't lost the game all year. You beat them 41-21 in a neutral site. You beat Tennessee with ease at home. You get Texas, who didn't look that great against Arizona State. Then you're going to get Georgia with the backup QB, a Penn State team you already beat, or Notre Dame team that I don't think is that great. So the winner of that Ohio State-Oregon game was going to be the favorite for the national championship. The sheer dominance in which the Buckeyes showed in this performance, the brilliant Buckeyes, if you will, that's a no-doubter for me. They are the odds-on favorite for the national championship, and yeah, get your hopes up for that. So be honest with me, folks, Ohio State fans. What is your confidence level right now in Ohio State winning the college football playoff? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comments section of today's show. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, it's fine. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. If Jeremiah Smith was draft eligible, I think he'd be like the number 1 pick in this year's class. Every couple years, every 7, 8, 9, 10 years, whatever it is, there's a guy that shows up, whether it's as a freshman or a sophomore, that's not draft eligible, and we go, yeah, this dude's him. There's no doubt this guy is an elite football player, and he could hang way above his age group in the NFL. Jeremiah Smith is doing that right now. You kind of saw from like Nick Bosa as a sophomore to an extent. It's 7 catches, 187 yards, 2 scores. Both of those, the yards and the touchdowns, season highs for Jeremiah Smith. He had not put up back-to-back 100-yard games all season long. Hadn't put up back-to-back 90-yard games outside of the first 2 weeks of the season against Akron and Western Michigan. He just did it against Tennessee and Oregon when they know the ball is going to go to Jeremiah Smith. This is a elite football player who I adore watching, and the game plan is him against Texas. Jahdae Barron's going to be a top 50 pick out of Texas. Cool. Ball goes to Jeremiah Smith. Get him the ball, and good things will happen. That is a very unique football player, and you get 2 more years of him, too. Today's show is made possible by Gametime. Gametime is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big event, or maybe to the answer to your problems if you forgot to get something for the holidays for somebody in your life. Tickets are an easy way to go about doing that there. Download the Gametime app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. You can get Cotton Bowl tickets, and yes, they are very pricey, by the way. Maybe you want to save that money for a potential CFP championship game ticket instead. Either way, two things you should use. The Gametime Picks feature. Shows up the fluff, only shows you the best deals on the greatest seats on the Gametime app. Saves you time, so you don't have to waste time trying to do a bunch of different tickets. Like, you probably don't want standing room only at Jerry World, frankly. And the all-in pricing feature. Turn that on so you see your total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. Download the Gametime app, create your account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. Number 4, Will Howard is balling right now. Again, much like not a coincidence, it comes on the heels of Jeremiah Smith having his best games ever back-to-back. Will Howard is also playing some incredible football. He is making the right decisions. He's making big plays. He looks on fire right now. He, again, hadn't had 300 yards in back-to-back games at any point this season. He had one other 300-yard game, also, funnily enough, against Oregon. In fact, he actually had more sub-200-yard games going into the CFP than he had 300-yard games. Well, he's thrown for 311 and 319 with multiple touchdowns in each of them in the last 2 games. He had like 200-something yards in like the first 5 drives or 4 drives, something crazy. He was dealing. This performance from if you get this Will Howard against Texas in the national championship game, you're going to win. You know, you've spent all this money, all this NIL funds on building the super team roster. The quarterback was the big question mark. This version of Will Howard, you're going to win. You will win the national championship. Lots of different answers on this one. Almost no wrong answers. Who gets the game ball for the Ohio State Buckeyes against Oregon? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Finally, this defense is locked in. Cody Simon's making plays left and right. Jack Sawyer constantly getting pressure and making stuff happen. Sonny Styles made some plays. No mistakes by your secondary, really. Caleb Downs almost picked off 2 passes. Lathan Ransom had a sack. Tyreek Williams looks like a top 50 player in the NFL draft. Like, they were on fire. It says Dylan Gabriel was 29 of 41 for 299. That he didn't do it until the game was over. He was like 6 of 14 for 66 yards on the crazy open of the game. Like, he didn't do anything. And not only that, he took a bunch of sacks in this one. And they were some self-inflicted bad decision-making sacks by Dylan Gabriel. Oregon, thanks to the benefit of sacks going against the rushing totals, had 28 carries for negative 23 yards. Even if you just look at the running backs, it was 7 carries, 14, 2 carries, 4 yards, 6 carries, 3 yards. Oregon was a one-dimensional offense the entirety of this game. And the Ohio State defense in back-to-back weeks looks like they're playing with their hair on fire and constantly around the football. And again, look like the best team in college football. That will be put to the test against Texas on Friday night in the Cotton Bowl in the CFP Semifinals. Ohio State opening up that game was a 4.5-point favorite. Between building the show and filming it, they are now a 5.5-point favorite. I think Brett Murphy claimed the projected line was Texas -2. Laughable. Was never the case because Ohio State is clearly better right now. Now, it's going to be a road environment for OSU. Those fans, you guys travel pretty well. We will have a full preview of Ohio State against Texas here for you on the channel on we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it on Thursday. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/GoBucks.